the Young Voices Network. Right now, we are a part of a 24-hour global conversation about our futures, creating a space where all generations, especially young voices, can share their voices, concerns, and action-driven projects towards a better tomorrow. It will be streamed on YouTube, so let's make sure our conversation counts. Share your thoughts and join the global discussion using pound WFDYV 2025. In the event that we have breakout rooms, we may not, but just in the event, if you can look at the bottom of your navigation bar, if you do not see a break room present, please use the More button, and then you should see that option pop up to you. With that, we would love to welcome our facilitators from OECD.
You can take over, Darak, and Josh, all yours.
So much. Shall we give people a few minutes to join?
Sure.
All right.
We have a pretty full room already.
Okay. Let me get the right screen share up.
We can see your screen, Josh. Great. Hey there.
Wonderful. Well, let's get started then. Hello,
All right.
everyone joining from wherever you are around the world. It's wonderful to be here. Great to have you join us. Hi, Lourdes. Hi, Dara. Hi, everyone who's joined specially for this session, but also those who are participating in more sessions in this very special day of World Futures Day, Young Voices Edition. Our session is called Hear Why, Say Why, See Why, because we want to look at the power of curiosity to shape the future. Quick introductions to get us started then. So, my name is Josh. I work at an organization called the OECD, which stands for Organization for Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. And we are a club of 38 countries where the governments of those countries come together to share knowledge about how best to do things from a range of different areas, including healthcare, social support, and education and skills. And that's the part of the organization where I work with my colleague, Dara. Over to you, Dara, if you want to introduce yourself.
So hello, everyone, and thank you for joining our session. Can everyone hear me okay?
Great.
Excellent. So it really is great to see all of you here, and I know we're joining from different time zones today, so let me say hello again and good morning or good evening, depending on where you are. So yes, my name is Dara McKee-Matthews, and I am from Ireland, and I work with Josh at the OECD. And late last year, I joined a project called New Perspectives on Childhood, where myself and the project team are currently working on child and youth empowerment, and we are actively seeking opportunities to engage with young people and hear their opinions on issues that are important to them. Hence why I am very excited for this session. So, Josh, you have the rights to change? I don't think I do. Okay, perfect. So, why this session? So, our world is changing at a rapid pace, and young people are not just experiencing this change, they are also actively shaping it also. And understanding how young people think and the questions that they ask gives us valuable insight into the future that we are all building together. And in order, excuse me, to gain perspectives that young people have, ensuring that children and youth today are empowered to use their voice and have a platform to share these perspectives is paramount. And so what does an empowered young person look like? Empowered children and young people are beings and not just becomings. They are not just adults in the making. They are full members of society with ideas and the ability to make a difference. They can take meaningful action on the things that matter most to them, and they can learn by doing and have the freedom and the agency to make their own mistakes. And this three-pronged approach is derived from the OECD's working definition of child empowerment, which states empowered children have the opportunity and ability to act on issues important and relevant to them. They can learn by making mistakes and are key contributors to democracy. They are not just adults in the making, they are a part of the fabric of society and are able to shape our shared future. And so during our work, Josh and I explore child empowerment through 4 key themes. That would be physical health, mental health and well-being, children's relationships with their families and friends, and how they use new technologies. And these factors shape a child's ability to act on issues that matter to them, and their impact evolves across different stages of childhood, from those early years to adolescence and into young adulthood. And so far in our project, Josh and I have explored youth perspectives on anxiety surrounding climate change. We have explored future thinking as a tool for youth empowerment and opportunities that young people have in the digital world. But we know there is a lot more to explore. And that is why we are turning to you. We want to ask what issues matter most to you and what questions you want to explore. Because as researchers, we do not have all the answers. But what we do know is that the perspectives of young people are crucial, and those perspectives will shape our research and help us ensure that young people's voices are truly heard and reflected in our work. And so with that, I will hand back to Josh to discuss how we will gain your perspectives today.
Thank you so much, Dara. And you really put it well just there by saying that we don't have all the answers. And we want to really emphasize that fact and say that today, especially for us, but also for everyone present, we hope is an opportunity to ask a lot more questions. And we'll start with saying we want to know what matters to you and what we should study next. We're delighted to have with us today Teach the Future's Young Voices Council, who are all about amplifying youth perspectives, and they're doing their own work on some projects within their worlds and their local communities that are building their future's consciousness and their ability to shape the future together. So we are thrilled to have the opportunity to hear from those young people, and we'll be looking for their views on some of the ideas that we're exploring in our work. So the central theme for today, if you haven't already figured it out, is the power of why, and we really want to look at curiosity as a skill for the future and which opens up the future for those who ask it. And many have come before in asking why and changing the future in their turn. At the age of 15, Louis Braille, we say Braille in English, asked, why can't blind people read as easily as sighted people? And at that young age, he created a system for reading through touch, which you've probably seen all around the world. It was created by a 15-year-old, and it changed the world for many millions of people. More recently, Gitanjali Rao, at the age of 10, she's a scientist and engineer, asked the question, Why don't people have an easier way to make sure that drinking water is safe? And she didn't stop at the question. She also brought a solution to it by engineering a product that worked with smartphones and Bluetooth to actually detect how clean drinking water was and how safe it was, and potentially also saved millions of lives through that. And somebody who was a bit older at the time, she changed the world, but already as a young person, people knew that she was destined for great things, was Ada Lovelace, who asked, why shouldn't machines think just like people? Here we are in 2025 talking about artificial intelligence and feeling like it's changing the world. Well, if you go back to Ada Lovelace, she was the person who created the world's first computer program. And we are now living with the legacy of her creation. But too often, curiosity is not as encouraged as we think it should be, and we miss opportunities to ask why. So, Dara, why don't you take it from here and tell us about how you became inspired to give us this session today?
Of course. So, as Josh just demonstrated, curiosity, when voiced by young people, has driven incredible advancements in our society, and it has the power to also challenge adult blind spots and remind us that innovation begins with questioning the status quo. Why are things the way they are? And children and young people are naturally excellent at this. But something that I noticed in a conversation with Josh was that as we get older, this innate curiosity that begins in childhood can often be discouraged by parents and teachers who are perhaps running out of patience, or just society at large. And why is this? I believe there are three main reasons. Partly due to, first of all, a fear of change. You know, we all have a fear of change, but many innovations in society are met at first with resistance, right? So that's definitely a factor here. And secondly, this is partly because of, you know, these long-standing ideas and beliefs and traditions we have about what it means to respect authority, to be an authority figure. Some adults and other individuals in a position of authority outside of family, they can tend to believe that they have all the answers already, and they certainly don't wish to be challenged by a child. That's probably an experience we have all had at some point in our lives. And partly curiosity can be discouraged simply due to the norms that we have in our society. We can subtly learn that it is just the done thing, or it is easier to accept things as they are rather than ask why. And this is something that I really, really wanted to bring to this session, that curiosity should be encouraged as we get older. This is not something that we must grow out of. Rather, on the contrary, it is something that we should nurture across our whole lives. We need this phase of why. Children, anyone who's been around a young person, particularly under the age of, say, 5, every few minutes of this conversation, why is the sky blue? Why do we drive cars? You know, why do we drink water out of cups and not bowls? You get these questions all the time. But as the children get older, this innate curiosity is something that they should retain, and it's something that we should encourage, because encouraging lifelong questioning not only empowers individual children, but also strengthens societies by fostering innovation and progress, as we've seen with Ada Lovelace and Louis Braille. So today we hope to spark your innate curiosity, to inspire you to keep questioning and show you how powerful asking why can be. And with that, I will hand back to Josh to get some questions going. We have an interactive session prepared for you.
And I'm very soon going to stop talking. I'll just transition us on to some asking of questions by saying that the one thing we are not going to say in today's session is because I said so. When we say because I said so, we are keeping the present in place. We are trying to stop things from changing. And today is World Futures Day. And the future is all about change, right? And change starts with asking the question why. So that's the real futures flavor of the question why that we're posing today. And we really want to emphasize that every time you ask why, you're doing something to change the future. So we have a why question to start us off. Why did you join us today? This is our opportunity to get acquainted if you haven't already used Padlet. You've seen a QR code before, so you know what to do with those. Grab your phone. I'm also going to put the link in the chat. Or maybe Dara, if you have the Padlet open on your computer, you could put the link in the chat.
Yeah.
And while you do that, I'm going to show people what I do to make it work. So I have my phone up here. I'm scanning it, opening the link. And then when you're in the page, you see there's this plus button at the bottom. So you just touch the plus button, write something, fantastic idea, why you joined the session today, and then touch publish in the top corner there. So I'll show you that once again. Once you've opened the link, plus button at the bottom, type in your idea, and then hit publish. All right, we'll give you a couple of minutes to do that. And in a couple of minutes, Dara and I will start going through these messages, and we'll also hear from anyone who wants to add their idea. We might even call on you as well. All right, we'll leave another 30 seconds for people who want to add their view on Padlet, but I'm going to start reading out some of my favorites. And Dara, if you want to do the same, we can have a back and forth. And while we're doing that, Everyone else, feel free to raise your hand if you want to contribute. You can turn your camera and microphone on if you want to, and we'll hear from some of the people participating. So I'm seeing here people want to learn more about how using why can be important to think about the future. Absolutely. Learn about future global challenges and new ideas. Any favorites from you, Dara?
There was one that I had that is, hold on, let me find it, but it said that they wanted to join because they're hearing a lot of negative things about the future and wanted this session to be a remedy. I really like that one. Young people are not often as negative.
Mm,
I like that.
that's great. Anyone from the audience want to raise their hand and join in the dialogue? We definitely welcome that very warmly.
Mm.
I'm also seeing here, yes, events like this are a remedy to negative views about the future. Learning
Exactly.
more about futures thinking around childhood and education,
Mhm.
and listen to some young people's perspectives about how they're feeling about the future. Well, absolutely, that's what Dara and I are doing in our work too.
Mm.
That's
Because
why we're here.
every voice deserves to be heard. Exactly.
Mm,
Exactly. And they
that's
all
great.
deserve a platform to use that voice.
Anyone want to jump in with some extra contributions or say why they wrote what they wrote? Give you a couple more minutes. All right.
I see David has a hand raised. Please go ahead.
Go ahead, David.
Yeah, I think it's great that you guys are having this session just for, like what Dara mentioned, the comment that she really liked. I think, firstly, I think as adults, we generally obviously can be more negative about the future than kids, but I also think we have preconceptions. We place our own preconceptions on what we think children think about the future. So it's nice to have this, if you're not directly in contact with kids every day, to actually hear directly from them, because I think we've got a lot of preconceived ideas about their thinking. So I think it's really great to have this session. Yeah.
Absolutely, David. Very much agreed.
Yes. Don't fill in for someone else. That's great advice. Christina, I see you have your camera and microphone on. Are you preparing to contribute?
Well, I'm really amazed with all this idea of teaching the future and thinking about children. And I feel a child and mature all together all the time. And I'm very conscious, aware that all of us, the whole humanity, is creating right now the future. The future is not tomorrow. The future is about we are thinking and feeling and doing now. What we are living now is what we thought yesterday. So, and did yesterday. So that's why I am so enthusiastic about all that is happening here now. And I thank you for that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your contribution. Well, I think we can move on to our next question because that one was just a warm up. Now we're going to start asking some bigger questions for some bigger ideas. So we'll give you a bit more time. Maybe not full 15 minutes, but maybe 10 minutes. We want to think about an everyday why, something in your life or in your family or in the world around you that you see every day. Like, why do we have schools? Or why do I have to get up at this time in the morning? Or why do my parents say or do this? Think of one of those, or even more than one if you like. And same same thing as before, new QR code, new Padlet. So same way of making it work. Bring up the Padlet here, use the plus button at the bottom, and then hit publish. So we'll leave a few minutes for people to make their contributions, and then we'll see if anyone wants to join by adding their contribution to the conversation here as well. So what I can see already happening is that people are naturally adding more whys to the questions. That's exactly what we want. So every why question can generate more why questions, like a chain of whys. So feel free to read the questions we already have and add some more why questions to those that are already in the channel. And of course, as I said earlier, we're not going to try to answer any of the questions today. They're supposed to be there to open up more thinking and open more possibilities. So we'll have a couple more minutes, and then Dara and I will look through again some of our favorite contributions, and we very much welcome you raising your hands, opening your cameras and microphones and sharing some more thoughts. Couple more minutes. All right, Dara, have you got a few favorites from the Padlet?
Yes. So I like the why is it so hot in the city during the summer? I enjoyed that one as someone who does not come from a country with a hot climate. My first Parisian summer last year, I asked that question every single day. That was
And
up
why
there.
don't we have more air conditioners in Paris, I
In
think
Paris?
is my addition to that chain of whys there. Yes.
Absolutely. And what about you, Josh? Any of your favorites?
Oh, I think why aren't children encouraged to really think? Why is it there's a lot here about who we are and who we feel like we are, and why isn't it easier to be the people that we are? Why don't we listen more to young people and children? And then some more everyday whys. Why does it take so long to get across Paris? Was that maybe from you, Dara?
No, I don't know.
Why do we need to have rules? That's a big one.
Mm,
We'll have more time to talk about some of the big and even the worldwide whys in our next round of contributions. Um,
ah,
Opening up to the floor, does anyone else want to open their microphones and share some of their why questions and tell us a bit more about why you shared the questions that you shared?
mhm,
Anyone from our young people audience?
mm. Just come. I
We
see a
have
hand raised,
Ayush.
please.
Yep.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask, so I try to get a little uh deeper with it, like a little more philosophical question. So my question was, why do adults tell kids they're the future, but not always trust them to change the present? Because
Mm,
this is a little like child empowerment thing I always thought about, because a lot of people like tell a lot of kids that they're the future, but when they grow up they say that follow a safer line of career, or they don't like let them take risk to try and change the present to help make
mm.
the new future, even though they always say that they're the future. So I try to get a little more deeper with it.
That's a great one. And why do
Excellent question.
adults suppose that young people are going to fix all the problems that they've left behind as well? I think there's some kind of contradiction there. Maya, you're next in line. Go ahead.
Okay, so hi everyone. My everyday question, because I still go to school every day practically, is why do I have to sit around here and practically do nothing with my life? Because we have in Poland, because I'm from Poland, we have this traditional, really traditional school system. So we really like learn not useful stuff at all. So this is my everyday question. Why do I have to sit around here and do nothing?
And why is what you're doing not made clearer in terms of its connection to your real world and what you're going to do with it? Why is that not? Why is the why not given to you? Great question. Jahangir, you can correct me on the pronunciation of your name, please. Okay, we'll skip to the next person, Mika.
Hello, how are you? Gonna my video's on now.
Yes.
I'm the one who wrote the question about why it is so hot in the summer in the city. And this question comes from my own experience, everyday experience in my own city. I'm from Argentina. And this summer was especially hot. We had temperatures between 40, 50 Celsius degree, so it's a lot.
Wow.
And when you are walking in the city in a especially hot day, you can keep wondering why it's so hot, why we have so much gray painting in the street, why we don't have so many trees in the street. So I think that the city, especially the landscape, is a great questioning doctor, and I think this is a nice exercise for the future. Try to think about what we can do different in our cities and towns.
I love this because asking why things are the way they are tells us something about the past, but that's also a reminder that everything we're doing today is going to change the future. And in 10 years, 15 years, 100 years, people are going to be asking why about the things that we do. And every time we take an action or make a decision, we should think about how the next generation and how young people are going to ask why we did what we did. Joel, over to you. Your hand is up next. Oh, we can't hear you, and you're not muted. So is there maybe a microphone missing?
Perfect. Hear you now.
There we go.
Okay.
Melissa, you're up
everyone.
next.
My daily question will be, why don't we combine the demands of the future with the learning of the young to create a disruptive model that meets the needs of tomorrow? This is because I have always seen from my area, which is Lima, Peru, a gap between these two fields or two groups. So it is beginning addressing certain parts of the world, which is excellent, but I consider it is still too big not to take into account.
Great questions. Thank you so much for adding those into the mix. Melissa, you're next. Go ahead.
Yes. How many people light them this future day combination for this to talk about this. Yani people, how can be iska go ahead you. Thank you. This is my question. This is my question. How can people lend them the video? Yeah. Okay.
It's a question about how we can coexist with other people who are different from
Yes,
us. Is it
yes,
something
yes,
like
yes,
that?
yes. Yes, yes, this is.
Yes, that's a great question. And why is it so difficult to do that? And why don't people look for more ways to coexist peacefully? Great question. Thank you so much. Do we have any other contributions to this part of our conversation? We're already running behind time, so maybe we move to the next
To the next.
question, which is even bigger, because we want to ask you a worldwide why, something about the big wide world and what big why matters for the future. Think about the big changes in the world that have happened, that are happening now, and that could happen in the future. What could we do today to make things better? And why are we not already doing it today? Or what's holding us back? What more could we be doing? I see we have a raised hand. If it's okay, I'd like to give us a couple of minutes just to think about this question, contribute to the Padlet, and I promise you, Jahangir, you'll be the first person to contribute in 5 minutes when we hear back from everyone. Okay? So 5 minutes to contribute your answers, and then we'll come back and hear from everybody. right, I'm seeing so many great why questions here, and I wish I had some of the answers to some of them, but I don't. I think that's a good thing because we're really doing what we said we would, which is to look at the power of these why questions to change the future. So people are asking, why do I have to accept the way things are? But people expect me to change them nonetheless. Why are people limited in their opportunities because of socioeconomic status? Let's hear from some of our people present. So Jahangir, thank you so much for waiting. I promised we'd hear from you next. It's over to you.
Hello, sir. Can I ask you some questions?
Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Today, first of all, today I have told you there are many people they have not money to get proper education. So what is your opinion to get education?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last part of your question.
Sir, I ask you, there are a lot of many people say they have not money to get proper education. So what is your opinion to get these students education?
I'm sorry, I'm still not hearing the question fully. I think there might be a sound
Hello.
problem.
Yeah, I said it, there are many people they have 1 minute.
Maybe
You've gone on to mute again, so please
Good.
feel free to share your question in the
Question in the
chat, and
chat.
I promise we'll look out for that so you can have your questions answered, or at least have a new why question added to them in the spirit of today's session. Ayush, you're next up. Over to you.
Yeah, so can I just like see the why question I wrote? Yeah, so the question I wanted to ask is, why do some kids not get the same opportunities as others just because of their socioeconomic status? So, can you hear me?
Perfectly. Yes.
Oh, oh yeah. So, like, I'm just gonna repeat this again. My question was, why do some kids not get the same opportunities as others, basis on just because of their socioeconomic status? And I think like a prominent example of this is the digital divide, where not a lot of kids get the same opportunities as others basis on tech education, where I see a lot of kids at the grassroots level not getting the same opportunities to learn tech education, while AI and technology, in my opinion, are the future. So that was my question, which I wanted to put.
Fantastic question. And again, it shows us how asking why about the present refocuses how we shape the future. I think there's also another why question we can add to it, which is, why do the big changes in society, like the increased powerfulness and availability of artificial intelligence, why do those things not help people with disadvantaged backgrounds as much as they maybe should be helping them? Maya, over to you.
Okay, so I'm interested in media, so my question is related to media. And my question is, why does media, I think in every country, revolve around bad news and really tragedies, and we don't have this space just for the positive news, like I don't know, there was some innovation created by youth or something. We just don't have the space in our world, and I think it's something that we should feel.
Why the negativity bias? Great question. Suha, you're up next. Oh, sorry, Melissa, you're up next.
How can the media how can the media stay the people, or is how media the people Africa has Africa, by example, or India, or this people, how not have a media with him. And thank you.
Thank you. I'm not sure I fully understood your question, and we need to hear from a couple of other people. So if you wouldn't mind just putting it in the chat, I'll make sure that we hear it and we record it. Sorry about that. Belen, over to you.
Hi, good morning to everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. Well, I put my question in the chat, but I can say here, if we are all equal and we have the same drives and skills, why don't we have the same opportunities? Well, I think where I'm from, Peru, and here there is not enough opportunities to people that have a social economic status very down, and I think not everyone has the same opportunities because the equally in potential does not mean equally in circumstance. Factors like economic background, education access, and social networks, and even the geographic location play a significant role in shaping the opportunities available to each person. I asked this question because in theory, if everyone had the same motivation and abilities, success should depend purely on effort and all the abilities they have to have this goal. However, reality shows that external conditions such as financial stability and the quality of education and society support can create like barriers that prevent some individuals from reach their full potential, despite having the same drive and talent as others. Recognizing this disparity is crucial to working toward a fair and more inclusive society and have like to all people have the same opportunities.
Profound points there. Thank you so much for your contribution. Ura, over to you.
Hey, can I talk?
And thank you so much. First of all, apologies for not turning my camera on. Actually, my device don't allow me.
No
Okay,
problem.
my question is actually this: that why English language is seen as a status symbol and a barrier for students.
Oh, I think we lost you there, Ura, but we heard the first part of your question, which was why is the English language why is the English language a prestigious language in many parts of the world? I think that's also a question that touches on a lot of that piece of how did we get here? Why are things the way they are? And why might things we do today change the future? Mahir, I see you're ready to come in. I think you might be the last person we have time to hear from, so please go ahead.
Hey, assalamu alaikum. I'm especially sorry I can't turn on my camera. I am Mahira Fatrahman. I am the coordinator of anti-discrimination student movement in Bangladesh. You know that about 2024. And I'm also a youth leader, activist, and the president of Mustafiz Foundation. I believe the future must be built on creativity and peace for every child.
Thank you very much. Was there a why question in there, or was it to introduce yourself? All right, I think that's all we have time for. Thank you so much, everyone, for your contributions. We're going to move to wrap up our session now. Our final reflections are that we are going to save what you have contributed in the chat. We're going to save what you have contributed in Padlet as well. And we will be inspired to continue asking why and to use those big ideas, your worldwide whys, as well as your everyday whys, to guide the questions that we ask in the next phase of the work we do. Any final reflections from you, Dara?
Yeah, so I just wanted to first of all thank you all for your enthusiasm. It was such a great feeling to see all
I'm
the
sorry,
questions
can you guys
coming
hear
in.
me?
And
I just lost.
do we have someone speaking now?
Yeah, but we don't have time for
Yes, perhaps
we need to wrap up now.
Yes. I just wanted to say that I was so pleased to see everyone's enthusiasm, and all the questions coming in were fantastic, and everyone really brought their curiosity from the everyday things to the bigger whys, and it is absolutely something that we will take into our work. I was very much pleased to see the conversation turn to education and inequality and barriers, which is something that we very much focus on in our work. So thank you for today.
Thank you so much, Josh and Dara. What a fantastic session. And of course, thank you for everybody who participated and gave their whys, as well as on Padlet. We absolutely appreciate your interaction. With that, we are going to wrap up this session and this inspiring session. And thank you all for being a part of World Futures Day, Young Voices 2025. Your perspectives. Sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Yes, Randy.
Sorry about that. Your
Okay.
perspectives and participation have made this conversation truly meaningful. The journey doesn't end here, as everybody knows. Please join us for the next session. In the chat box, I did put the link for certification for being at this session. And a few quick notes. We just wanted to let you know that the Young Voices Council, they were joined today, and we thank them for their participation as well. And they have helped us co-create the Futures Literacy Fundamental course. And you can go ahead and find the registration link there if you would like to register for the summer. Have a great day, and we will see you at the next session.
Thank you so much, Randy. Thank you so much, YVC. I'm getting a lot of shout outs in the chat box, a lot of compliments. Unbelievable. These youth, their voices. So I'm so happy. Thank you all.